The Legend of Zelda. Still, even after all these years of making videos and playing more games than I care to count, my favorite video game franchise. It's influenced so much in multiple fields of gaming and has had such an impact on the lives of gamers across the globe. And with Breath of the Wild only a couple weeks away and Zelda's 30th anniversary having come just last year, I want to talk about this series again. With so many elements the series is known for, I figure we should do something a little less obvious and consider the side quests. Alternate and optional tasks and quests that, while having no true bearing on the story, can give you unique items, add additional layering to the characters of the world, or sometimes just to take a break from your grand quest. They can range from item trading sequences, to mini-games, to mini-dungeons, pretty much anything that can provide additional layering and fun to the game. And so, I'm going to be counting down my favourites of these optional quests. Obviously including only one side quest per game, but additionally, I'm restricting this list to having each style of side quest only having one representative, just so the list isn't completely flooded with only trading sequences or mini-dungeons. Good to have some variety, you know? Without further ado, let's get this thing started! The Minish Cap had a pretty unique way of going about doing its side quests, what with the use of Kinstone fusions to have effects on the world to create new events and paths for you to delve down. But out of all the Kinstone Fusion side quests, one of them always stuck out to me. In Hyrule Town on the western side of town, you can go and infuse Kinstones with a strange robed man in one of the houses, to open up a portal nearby Link's house which upon entering, will teleport you to the Tower of Winds, actually one of the penultimate areas of the game. Pretty cool right off the bat. Arriving in this place, you find a bedridden old man who is actually being tormented by an illness caused by this ghost floating over his head. Suck the ghost up with your gust jar and his illness will be cured, giving you that warm fuzzy feeling of helping a helpless guy out. But we're not done. When you get to this area of the game properly in search of the final element for the Force Sword, the old man, named Greagle by the way, will thank you for curing him by giving you the Light Arrows, a superb upgrade for your bow. What makes you like this side quest so much is the idea of real consequences if you fail to do this side quest. If you reach the Tower of Winds without having gone to the trouble of unlocking the portal and healing Greagle, he will have died. The ghost will actually have killed him. You get no second chance here. You will have lost the Light Arrows for good. You had the chance to save a man's life, and that chance is gone. Pretty grim, you know? When you really think about it, getting called up to do hero work can be a pretty taxing thing in your life, you know? Just gotta leave your home, your family, and your friends behind for all to go and do some hero-esque things. Imagine how this must feel when you've got a profession on top of that. Well, at least in Spirit Tracks you can actually put some time away from the plot and invest in doing some work with your training for the people of the land. This job is why Lingo roped into this whole mess in the first place, right? These kind of side quests are pretty simple things, whether it be transporting goods from one location to another, or taking the passengers from place to place, which actually makes me find them kind of amusing. Taking passengers places actually requires you to follow the traffic signs you see dotted across the overworld. You know, those things you'd rather just shoot with a bomb as you pass, and just overall be a pleasant and law-abiding train engineer, the thing that everyone plays this game to do. Okay, in all seriousness, a lot of cool stuff is actually accomplished in these side quests. You help people out with their problems, of course, and you're usually rewarded Force Gems to extend the Spirit Tracks, giving you access to new shortcuts around the overworld, new places to hunt for those annoying bunnies, and even brand new locations in mini-dungeons. May not be the most glamorous thing in the world, but hey, you get to see interesting things happen, and you get rewarded just fine for your efforts. Cause this really does sound like an actual job, doesn't it? The Windmaker had a nifty little item called the Picto Box that'll allow you to take pictures around the overworld to complete some side quests, as well as just do whatever stupid things you can figure out to do with it. As a younger lad, I thought the random inclusion of a camera into the Zelda games just felt a little out of place given the era this is kind of based off of in the world. Then I learned something. This actually wasn't the first inclusion of a camera in the Zelda series. The first was with this charming fella right here and his photo album. After you first meet with him in his photo shop, this photographer will set about making a photo album titled The Travels of Link, depicting various points of your journey, from being chased by a chain chomp, watching a helpless man struggle beneath the waves, and some proof of Link's villainous ways. These photos are obtained usually by going to a certain location in the world or doing something specific to trigger the photographer showing up and taking your picture. And while honestly the photos themselves are only mildly entertaining, especially when you lack a Game Boy printer to fully utilize them, obtaining the photo in and of itself is rewarding, and especially the ones you get with Marin. The three little pictures and the scenes that come with them really made me wish we could have kept Marin around for more than just a short interlude. So much sweetness and chemistry between these two in just these few little cutscenes. But out, old man, we're trying to have a moment here. All in all, this little bit of fun in the midst of Link's Awakening was always really memorable for me. Now, if only it was possible to get all 13 photos in a single playthrough. You know what, forget it, just settle for Link getting beaten up. Gorgeous. One of the strengths I feel that Skyward Sword has is the world above the clouds it creates. With a smaller overall cast of characters confined to a relatively confined cluster of islands, they managed to flesh out quite a lot of their characteristics and stories to really make them interesting and give us a fair bit of side quests. My favourite of which being the sequence of side quests involving the Lumpy Pumpkin. After being the goddess's dashing chosen hero that you are, and carefully following the instructions given to you around the bar, ooh, few too many whiskeys there, eh, mate? You end up getting slammed with the punishment of working for Pum the bar owner until you can pay off the chandelier you broke. Revenge for all those Zelda years of breaking other people's stuff. Still, this set of 3 tests really stuck with me for some reason. Sure, the delivery part of it is pretty ordinary, but the balancing minigame while carrying the pumpkins is always a little nerve-wracking thanks to Link's cartoon ideology of efficiency over practicality, and you even get to perform a song in the bar with Kino on your harp. Guitar Hero skills don't fail me now! Harp Hero 2017. Also in this aside, this was a set of side quests that highlight one of the nuances that makes me like Skyward Sword. A number of menial tasks, yes, but all built around the idea of interaction with some of the NPCs who make up the world above the clouds. Plus, this side quest ends up netting you 2 pieces of heart instead of just 1. You're really forgiving about me breaking that expensive custom-made chandelier. Guess the world just has some really nice people in it. Despite being predominantly a game series about adventures and combat, Zelda definitely has a lot of awesome and memorable minigames. Bumju bowling, the river cruise, the shooting galleries, all these memorable ones. But you know what my favorite one is? The one with all the chickens! Ah, the beautiful CUCCO Ranch from A Link Between Worlds. You are a silly minigame. This minigame has one objective: don't get hit by the cuckoos. It may sound simple at first, but pump it up to some of the higher levels and you're gonna be feeling like Lana soon enough. It might be all fun and games up until you enter the fray, but it gets chaotic pretty damn quickly. Not only do more cuckoos begin flying in from every imaginable direction, they come in at different speeds and even bring in the giant cuckoos over here. What? Getting to the higher levels will quickly turn this into something more reminiscent of a bullet hell shooter, and the highest level is an endless mode that doesn't cap for more than 16 minutes! This minigame right here is so dumb and practically insane. I freaking love it! I don't think I've ever found myself laughing so hard in blind panic in anything even related to Zelda other than this one minigame. Whenever I replay A Link Between Worlds, you bet your ass I'm spending a good while getting all the prizes for this minigame, just panicking and chuckling my ass over the absurdity as I watch the cookies just fly around at insane speeds and directions. Don't get me wrong though, I like all those minigames I listed earlier as well, but you can't even compete with this. I mean, what can compete with this? Let me just say this though. By the time you beat all the levels of this minigame, you'll be pretty good at handling a lot of chicks. Item trading sequences are a well-known thing from the Zelda series. A long sequence of scouring the world, trading an item for another item over and over again, until you eventually get the final, actually rewarding item. A lot of people would say the best trading sequence is the one for the Big Oron sword, but honestly, the one I find the most memorable and most enjoyable is the one from Oracle of Ages, the quest for the Noble Sword. Want to know one of the reasons I think this is the best trading sequence in the series? It takes advantage of the game's central mechanic, the time traveling. These items you trade aren't only from different locations in the world, but from across time as well. Finding the person who requires a certain thing to find happiness with their life, and scouring the land in the present and the past to find them. Like having Majora's Mask flashbacks when you give the stationery to the Toll Hand again to be rewarded with a bag of his poop. Yeah! Then giving that bag of poop to a Toke so the pungent smell will unclog his stuffy nose. Flawless logic. To me at least, this trading sequence just seemed overall more charming than a lot of the others. I don't know, something about finding the thing that each person needs to cheer them up and just make everyone happy. From the hungry happy mask salesman to the old Zora who misses the sea, all of them getting cheered up from your acts of kindness. And from receiving the now broken legendary sword of the hero from the same old Zora and playing a minigame to get it fixed, you're blessed with the sacred Noble Sword. Such a fun little side quest, and way better than Season's trading sequence. That one is the most pointless side quest ever. Potentially the most unique and the longest side quest in all of Zelda, we have the Nintendo Gallery from Wind Waker. This is a side quest for the completionists, those that are ready to sink more hours into a game you would ever need to, just for the privilege of saying that you did it. No other rewards, just bragging rights. All the motivation a geeky introvert like me needs! Basically, after you discover the Nintendo Gallery in Forest Haven, you then have the opportunity to fill the gallery with figurines made by the sculptor Karlov, by showing him pictographs of enemies and characters littered around the world. That's the thing though, every enemy and character in the game has a figurine, from random NPCs to bosses and even characters you only meet in cutscenes. You better brush up on your photography skills because you've got a lot of work to do. Throw yourself a few selfies so you gotta get some love on Instagram. This task was a little outside of a lot of players' comfort zones in the GameCube days, but with the HD version giving you the DX Pictobox earlier, letting you take more pictographs, and Miiverse letting players send pictographs of uncommon enemies, and even the legendary pictographs you usually have to pay for to other players, it's just a whole lot more manageable and more fun. Plus, simply the attention to detail to give every single living being in this world a figurine, as well as a bio and description for each one, just makes this so cool. I've spent a good bit of time just looking through these bios, believe you me. In short, this is just a really cool addition to an already massive game. Might be a little time consuming with little in-game reward, but simply having a full gallery at the end is worth it. Time well spent. In all the majesty of the epic Ocarina of Time, I have to say that my favourite side quest out of all of the ones in this masterful game would have to be rescuing Epona from Lon Lon Ranch. What? Is it a side quest? Pretty sure it is. Give me a second. Yeah, I'd say this most definitely fits the criteria. Despite being on the title screen and being in so much promotional material, Epona in Ocarina of Time is 100% optional. Sure, it may seem like you need her at the very least to cross the chasm to Gerudo Valley, but with that item you get from the Water Temple, not making it across seems like a long shot. Nonetheless, rescuing her from the ranch and making her your trusty steed is a side quest worth remembering. Once you've been to Lon Lon Ranch as a child and befriended the little filly herself, you can return to the ranch as an adult to find the old farmhand and mean-looking Luigi clone, Ingo, now running the ranch after getting talent thrown out, mistreating the animals and placing all the work on the now adult Malon. After paying him some cash to ride Epona around a little bit, he gets a little cocky and offers to race you for a wager of 50 rupees, him and that smug mustache of his. Since you obviously win the race being the kick-ass hero you are, he challenges you to yet another race, actually having Epona herself as his wager in the race, and he's serious this time. Nonetheless, you win the race again, and overcoming one last obstacle of him locking you in the ranch, you finally escape with your new trusty steed in tow. To a lot of players, this whole chain of events may seem a little mundane and unimpressive given how much exposure Ocarina of Time has, but this side quest is pretty riveting when you get down to it. A friendship between a hero and his companion animal, withstanding the passage of time until they are reunited and embark together to save this troubled world. Epona has become such a staple and memorable element in the Zelda series, and it's probably this side quest that helped make her so goddamn memorable. Or maybe it's because she's on the title screen, I don't know. Either way, it's a fun and memorable side quest. Leave it at that. The big challenge dungeon from my favorite Zelda game, and for some reason it took me until its HD remake to actually do it. The Cave of Ordeals from Twilight Princess. Out of the many different kinds of side quests in the Zelda series, these trial dungeons or enemy gauntlets have always been my absolute favorite. Pushing your experience and mastery of the combat system and enemy AI to defeat wave after wave of enemy has always given me such a great deal of satisfaction, really making you feel like you've grown to be a formidable powerhouse by the end of the game. This hidden cave in Twilight Princess is my preferred challenge dungeon for overall one main reason: its sense of difficulty. You'll be faced by considerably large hordes of regular enemies or small hordes of powerful enemies on every single room of this place, making absolutely sure you have no breathing room in the midst of combat. You better make sure you've gotten all your items, all your equipment, all your hidden skills, and all the harms you can before taking on this place, because you're going to be having a hard time without them. On top of simply having powerful enemies to deal with, the difficulty also comes from combinations of enemies, something you'd probably never expect to see together, like bubbles and levers, archers, redeads, and a huge choo-choo, two air rifles and a dark nut, and you know what? How about a ton of rooms where they just slap a couple of archers alongside a mob of melee enemies? Makes for a really fun time! There's one part that you'll remember the most though, the final room, where you gotta fight 3 dark nuts at once. Probably the toughest enemy in the game, requiring multiple of your hidden skills times 3. Have mercy, but frail elf boy. This treatment is not appreciated. At the very least, for going through all these challenges, you get some awesome rewards. Infinite fairies of the 4 spirit springs as you do the first 40 floors, and a bottle of great fairies tears for beating all of it, with infinite refills available at the 4 springs. Incredibly difficult, very tedious, but all worth it in the end. Oh, wait. if you want to carry more than one bottle of tears, you have to beat the whole thing again for each bottle. And it gets harder on the repeat. 4 of them now! Just fantastic. Yep, I'ma just stay down now. Well, here we are at number 1. And it's an obvious one. The KAFEL and ANJU quest from MAJORA'S Mask. Sure, you can have long side quests, ones that span over the entire length of a Zelda game, but this right here is much less a long side quest, and more like an entire subplot. Starting off with invading the office of Madame Aroma and being misidentified as an investigator, you are set about on the quest of finding her missing son KAFEL, who suddenly disappeared, only a short while before his very own wedding day. These events quite quickly take a dramatic turn after meeting with KAFEL's fiancée ANJU, and then she's actually been in contact with him, to meeting the man himself, who's not so much a man now and more of a child. KAFEL was cursed by the Skull Kid to be reduced to the body of a child, and in this state was attacked by a thief named Sakon who stole his sun mask, his major component to the wedding ceremony, and requests not only your assistance with ANJU, but to get his precious mask back from Sakon. This is a side quest that everyone remembers, and MAJORA'S Mask as a whole gets a lot of credit for this one side quest, and for good reason. While this whole chain of events may not be filled to the brim with action, other than when you infiltrate Sakon's hideout with KAFEL, what carries it all is the narrative that goes along with it. You get invested in the plights and stories of all the characters here. KAFEL, ANJU, Madame Aroma, the Curiosity Shop owner, and even the Postman, all of which contribute their own emotions and plights into the story, just providing a level of investment in side characters that other Zelda games simply can't match. There are even bonus cutscenes that are completely optional and offer no actual rewards, just providing more layers to the narrative the game weaves for us. All of this has culminated in one of my favourite moments in the entire game, waiting in ANJU's room in the final hours before the moon's impact, hoping that KAFEL is able to make it in time as the countdown slowly drops to 0. And if you did the quest right, he makes it. The two of them have their reunion and pledge their love to one another, fusing their masks together to complete their own little wedding ceremony, you of course taking the spoils of the couple's mask, the symbol of their love. This whole side quest is just wonderful. It's engrossing, emotional, it's fun to play through, and at the end of the day, just makes for a sweet and heartwarming love story in the midst of the cataclysm. I'm the Speedster, and let's hope Breath of the Wild can deliver us even more great side quests to immerse ourselves in. See you guys next time! Hello there once again, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to say sincerely thank you for sticking it out this far and watching the video to the end. To all of you who are regulars to my channel, I'm sorry that I haven't uploaded any countdown since I don't think June from last year. That's been utterly terrible. I'm very, very sorry about that. Let's just say over the past couple of months I've just had long periods of time where I've just been lacking in self-confidence and just dealing with a lot of anxiety and just overall just not believing in my content or believing in my abilities as a content creator. I have no real excuse for this, it's just the moments where just your own self-doubts and your own emotions just like prevent you from doing things for a while. I'm not using this as an excuse for being this long. It is no excuse. I should not have done this for this long, but it's simply an explanation. It's not a good explanation, but it's an explanation anyway. Hopefully, if I haven't screwed up with this countdown and I've done a decent enough job, hopefully I can get to work on other countdowns more quickly and get things out more commonly. But in the meantime, you can click this box over here to watch one of the previous countdowns I made last year on my favourite Super Smash Bros. Characters, or you can click the other box here to watch a blind Let's Play that I did of Fire Emblem Awakening. And for those of you wondering about my Fire Emblem playthroughs, don't worry, I will be starting Fates very, very soon after this video has been released. In the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter, you can support me on Patreon, but other than that, I want to thank you all once again for watching, and sincerely, I hope you all have a wonderful day. See you guys later.